slow up, no I don't take shit, I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
Hello guys and welcome to a new episode of the Football Show. As today we're going to talk about yesterday's Champions League games and also today's Champions League games. The first day of the quarterfinals, second leg of the Champions League, and also today's second day of the quarterfinals, second leg of Champions League. Liverpool against PSG. PSG won in the first leg 2-0, and they won again 2-0 thanks to two winning goals from Ousmane Dembele as PSG win on aggregate 4-0. And they go through to the second consecutive Champions League semi-final. It's their fourth Champions League semi-final. The other times they reached it was last year, of course, when they won the Champions League back in 2021, and also they did it in 2020 where they reached the final against Bayern Munich, but they lost 1-0 thanks to the winning goal from Kingsley Coman. But a very good win for PSG. I don't think PSG were at their best, but they didn't have to really. They just needed to get the job done, and they were in a good position to do so. I felt like Liverpool, particularly second half, had some good stages in the game where they should have scored at least. Some of the build-up, some of the game plan that Liverpool tried to execute was okay, but the missing final passes, the final touches, the final finishing was not there from Liverpool's side. So that's why, Liverpool had a penalty, which, by the way, I don't know how the hell that was a penalty, but the referee overturned it. And yeah, it was always going to be a difficult task for Liverpool to come back, especially against this Paris Saint-Germain side. And this Paris Saint-Germain side, like I said, they're not at their best, but they didn't have to. They just needed to get the job done. They were in a good position to do so, and they had to, avoid any dramas and go through to the semi-finals, which they did that in this game. So it was not easy at the start, but as soon as Dembele scored that first goal, 72nd minute, that was it. It was over. So yeah, very good win for Paris Saint-Germain, and they go through to the semi-finals of the Champions League. And once again, Ousmane Dembele stepped up once again. I mean, the guy, when it comes to the business end of the season, when it comes to the closing stages of the Champions League, he usually steps up. He stepped up massively for PSG last season, and he's done it again. This time against Liverpool. So if he keeps this good run of form and PSG, keep doing what they're doing as they did last season in Champions League, who knows? PSG could win the Champions League once again. I mean, it's very difficult, obviously, to win back-to-back Champions Leagues, but PSG are a fantastic team. They can do it. They can do it. They've got quality players, and what you have to like about PSG is that they're peaking at the right time. Because sometimes when you see teams, when they peak, they sometimes peak like in October, November, December, but when it comes to the business end of the season, they collapse. Whereas PSG don't fit in that criteria. In the start of the season, they might, in the first 5, 6, 7 months, they might not be at their best. They might be trying things, and they might not be at their best, and they might have some problems. But when it comes to the closing stages of the season, the last 2-3 months, they hit their strides and they hit their peak, and PSG did that last season. From the start, when they beat Manchester City, they had a great comeback against Manchester City last season, which helped them to win towards the end the Champions League, where they smashed Inter Milan, of course. And this season, it's happening a similar thing. It started from that. They didn't have a great start to the season, but it started from that game against Chelsea when they won 5-2, and then after that, we're starting to see the best of Paris Saint-Germain. So yeah, and PSG have got players that they can step up. They've got more than one player. It's not like an individual team. They've got more than one player who can step up. There's not only Ousmane Dembele, obviously you've got the likes of Desire Doué, Kvaratskhelia. They've got quality midfield, the likes of Vitinha and João Neves. And it's a very good team. Savanov, who the new goalkeeper for Paris Saint-Germain, who just replaced the Donnarumma, he's been very, very good since he obviously been selected the number 1 goalkeeper by Luis Enrique, which proved to be a good decision from Luis Enrique's side. So, PSG, they look strong once again. Will it be enough to win back-to-back Champions Leagues? Let's see. Obviously, they are most likely they're going to face Real Madrid or Bayern Munich, and I think if I'm a Paris Saint-Germain fan, who do I rather face? It's difficult to say because both, would give difficult challenges to to PSG. If I think if PSG face Real Bayern Munich, it could be like a basketball match. 50-50. Both teams are going forward. They're fantastic, and defensively, both teams can be concede chances at times. Whereas Real Madrid, PSG can have control, they can dominate, but obviously you need to take your chances against Real Madrid, because if you don't take your chances, you might get punished. So it's two different challenges, but still both teams have got world-class players who've got players who can step up, in the biggest stage, Bayern Munich and Real Madrid. So yeah, I think it's difficult. If I was a Paris Saint-Germain fan and you ask me who do I rather face, it's difficult to say, because both both have got fantastic players and fantastic in terms of experience of winning big trophies. So yeah, but it's Paris Saint-Germain. They're the European champions, and they so far they're starting to hit their strides, and for sure they could have a great chance of winning the Champions League again. For Liverpool, I mean, yeah, going forward they fluffed their lines. Yeah, there was some build up to it. There was some stages in the game where they looked quite decent, but like in front of goal, the final touch, the final passes, the final finishing was not there. It was very poor from Liverpool's side, in my opinion. Ekitike got injured, which was a bad injury, and according to most reports, he will miss the World Cup because of it. So get well soon to him, and hopefully he will, make a great recovery from his injury, because that looked like a nasty one from his side. So hopefully he will get well soon, and a speedy recovery for him. But at the same time, Liverpool, I don't know why Arne Slot benched Mohamed Salah. I mean, you trying to listen. I kind of get it in Paris Saint-Germain, because last week, because Liverpool were trying to defend and were trying to not concede many chances to PSG and protect the result. But you're playing at home. You need to score goals. You need to cause problems you need players who can cause problems for PSG defensively. And you bench Mohamed Salah. Salah scored on Saturday. Yeah, okay, he's not been at his best season, but he scored on Saturday. Why don't you play him? I don't get it. I really don't get it. I don't know what's wrong with. It's almost like it's always these kind of Dutch coaches where they have problems with big players. Van Gaal with Rivaldo, Ten Hag with Cristiano, and now it seems like Slot. Obviously, he had a problem with Salah at this stage of the season. So, I don't know why. Why don't you play him? Why don't you start him? I really didn't get it at all. Yes, he came in after 31 minutes, of course, where Ekitike got injured. But why don't you start him from? Why don't you start him? Why? I really didn't get it. So yeah, but Liverpool. I mean, Arne Slot was positive after the game, saying that we matched the best team in Europe, etc., etc. I'm sorry, but he's talking a lot of nonsense. You did score a goal and you lost 4-0 aggregate. How did you match them? Yeah, there were some stages in the game where you're creating chances, but you're Liverpool. You're a good team. You've got quality players. Of course, you're gonna have stages where you're gonna create chances. Doesn't mean you're better than the other team. And PSG, they're a fantastic quality team. They are much better team than Liverpool. Much better team. So Arne Slot to come with these stupid nonsense statements. They matched PSG was nonsense. So yeah, and Liverpool, what they're only to play for is trying to qualify for Champions League next season, 4th or 5th, and that's it. Now let's move on to Atletico Madrid against Barcelona. Barcelona win 2-1. However, Atletico Madrid go through to the semi-finals of the Champions League, winning 3-2 on aggregate, and Atletico Madrid go through to the semi-finals of the Champions League for the first time since 2017. Congratulations, Atletico Madrid going through. Let's be honest, the damage was done in the first leg. However, in the first 24 minutes, I'm thinking whoa, are really Atletico Madrid gonna throw it away like this, and Barcelona gonna make a great comeback? Because I have to say, but Atletico Madrid in the first 20-25 minutes, they looked very, very shaky defensively. Defensively, they were all over the place, particularly Longley. I mean, that guy, he nearly cost Atletico Madrid qualification for the semi-finals of the Champions League. But Atletico Madrid was difficult from their side. They started really poor in the first 25 minutes. They went 2-0 down. However, they started to wake up. They started to but Atletico Madrid, after the first 25 minutes, they started to wake up. Lookman, I mean, he's been a very good signing for Atletico Madrid since he came to in January. He's been a quality signing, stepping up in critical moments for Atletico Madrid, scoring important goals. And obviously, you need Atletico Madrid. They need quality players in the attack. And Atletico Madrid have had great attackers in the past, the likes of Luis Suarez, Falcao, Diego Costa, Morata. At times when he stepped up. And now they have the likes of Alvarez, Griezmann, and Griezmann obviously many years for Atletico Madrid. Lookman, they've got great players. They've got very good players in attack, and Lookman was one of them. And Lookman obviously stepping up in he stepped up massively for Atlanta. You know, particularly Europa League final where he scored a hat trick, and he came to Atletico and he stepped up in big moments. And obviously it's bigger. No suspect, obviously winning the first trophy for Atalanta in a long time, European trophy final, etc. But this is a more of a high stakes game. Champions League, you know, it's huge, high pressure, and he stepped up massively, particularly in this game. Well, Atletico Madrid really needed him because Atletico Madrid was struggling in the first 20-25 minutes, and he stepped up massively. And let's be honest, Atletico Madrid in the second half they got better. Their performance got better, and they started to create chances. There was a moment in the game where I felt like, but they were through a goal, and I think maybe they could have had a penalty in the end. I think Garcia touched the ball outside the box, but at the same time, you know, we're going to talk about the referee because the referee was absolutely terrible. But anyway, you know, Atletico Madrid got better. They created some chances in the second half, and they got better, even though they could see some chances, and they were holding on and on and on and on and on, and it was not easy. But they managed to get the job done in the end. Even it was not easy, even when Barcelona went down to 10 men in the 79th minute, it was not easy for Atletico Madrid's side. They still found it difficult, but they managed to hang on, and they still managed to get it over the line. So congratulations to Atletico Madrid. Like I said, they had chances. Barcelona had chances as well. Arejo had some chances as well, but at the same time, Atletico Madrid get the job done at the end. Atletico Madrid go through to the semi-finals of the Champions League. Like I said, congratulations to Atletico. And yeah, I mean, this Atletico Madrid side, obviously they are an experienced side. They're an experienced team. They have been in this kind of situations in the past. They've never won the Champions League, but they've obviously been in Champions League semi-finals, finals, quarter-finals in the past with an experienced manager like Diego Simeone. A lot of Atletico Madrid players are new, but they've got players who are still, you know, experienced, the likes of Koke, Griezmann, Oblak, even though he hasn't played much this season. And they've got World Cup winners, the likes of Julian Alvarez, Lookman, who obviously won the Europa League and scored a hat-trick, Llorente, where he played for Real Madrid and won the Champions League. So they've got experienced players who obviously don't have much experience as back in the 5-6 years ago, where they obviously had Godin and Miranda and those big leaders for Atletico Madrid, Gavi, etc. But at the same time, they're a team that is, you know, willing to, when you see a football team that is determined or gives the reflection or gives the picture of a football manager, or the manager gives the picture of a football team. That's what it is from Atletico Madrid side under Diego Simeone. Every game, every time you see them play under Diego Simeone, you see fight, passion. They're willing to die for each other. Those players are willing to run for a brick wall for Diego Simeone. That's willing to do for him. Obviously we saw Simeone, the nice words he said to Griezmann last week was fantastic. These players, they are willing to give everything for Simeone, and the fans also are willing to give everything. They love Simeone. They're willing to give everything for him, and Simeone wants to give them something back as well. So yeah, and for if Atletico Madrid go on, and they have to also credit to Musso. Musso obviously, Oblak, like I said, he hasn't played a lot this season. Musso, he stepped in this season replacing kind of a new goalkeeper, or having to step up into the shoes of Oblak, even though he's experienced and he's not young. He had to step up, and he did really well over 2 games. He made crucial saves in the first leg, and he also made some crucial saves in the second leg. You have to give him a lot of credit as well to Musso. He's been fantastic he was fantastic for Atletico Madrid over 2 games. So well done to him. And